Hello again, everyone. This is the third annual. Craig sits on his back deck at the end of the summer and shows some of the albums he's picked up over the past 6 months. And I picked up a few new ones, a few used ones. Not a lot, but this might take maybe 3 or 4 or 5 videos to properly show them to you. So here we go. This is the new Amy Winehouse, and it was released earlier this year. It's a double album. She does a lot of cover songs, old songs like Our Day Will Come, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, The Girl from Ipanema. I heard this in the record store and it sounded really good. I mean, I bought her last one, what, Back in Black or whatever it was called, and I bought it in CD, not vinyl. But this is pretty nice. Double album. I think it was only around $20. Now, of course, she passed away probably about a year ago or so now. This was released in 2011. It's the Bangles. It's called Sweetheart of the Sun, produced by Matthew Sweet. Single album. Fantastic music. Fantastic kind of power pop. They sound very much like the Peterson sisters and Susanna Hoffs sound very much like they did back in the 80s. It's just great music. They do a fantastic cover of Todd Rundgren when he was in the Nas, the song Open My Eyes. Really excellent. And speaking of Matthew Sweet has a new album, double album. It's called Modern Art. It's been out for a while. Really good stuff. We have here, it's a used album. It's a double album that I picked up earlier this year. It's Atomic Rooster, Home to Roost. It's kind of a compilation greatest hits of, I think, their first 3 albums, when Vincent Crane and John Buchanan guitar, Vincent Crane on keyboards. This is a British import from, I think, 1974 or 75. Here's another Phase 4 album. It's one of the last albums that Stan Kenton recorded. It's a live album, live in London. I think it's from around 1972. Not too long, probably, before he passed away. This is a very rare album, although this is not an original copy. It's a re-release, but I think this has gone out of print now. It was on Radioactive Records. It's a British group called Locomotive. It's called We Are Everything You See. It's from 1969, originally recorded at Abbey Road Studios on EMI, or Parlophone. And it's very kind of prog rock, really well orchestrated, mellotron, organ, keyboards. Norman Haynes was the lead singer, and I think he wrote probably most of the material. It's a really rare album, very excellent music. Another great British band of the late 60s, The Move, featuring Roy Wood, Bev Bevan. They both went on to Electric Light Orchestra. They formed ELO with Jeff Lynne. Jeff Lynne was briefly a member of The Move, I think, on the last album, What Message from the Country. These are very hard to find in Canada. This is Billy Strange, the James Bond theme, Walk Don't Run, 64. Fantastic instrumental guitar. Billy Strange unfortunately passed away earlier this year. He was a great studio guitar player and producer in Los Angeles in the 1960s. You notice the liner notes on this one were written by Roger Christian, who was one of Brian Wilson's early lyricists. I picked this one up. This should be in the Canadian series. It's Lisa Delbello, who is from Toronto, a female singer, kind of a pop rock singer. This album, the cover looks a lot like something like David Lee Roth perhaps might have released. It's called Who Man For Says. It's produced by Mick Ronson, and Mick Ronson plays guitar all over this album. This album, it's a classical album, Wagner, Ride of the Valkyries. It's a Sheffield Lab audiophile release from 1978. Direct-to-disc recording. Fantastic sounding recording. Here's an album I was pretty happy to find in vinyl. I've had the CD on this, but I found a nice vinyl copy. Tears for Fears. Seeds of Love, which I think was their last album before they parted company. Kurt Smith and is it Roland Olafable or whatever his name was. It's very much kind of psychedelic Beatlesque. They were really one of the great bands of the late 1980s. Fantastic music. I know very little about this. It's Kid Creole and the Coconuts. I too have seen the woods. Here's a fantastic band from the 80s, Simple Minds. I was surprised they didn't have this album. It's called Life in a Day. It's just when they were kind of ramping up. They started off as kind of a new wave band, but in the 1980s they were as big a band as U2. It's on Virgin Records, 1982. This might be Roy Buchanan's last album. It's called Hot Wires. It's on Alligator Records. Nice cover. 1987. The Cure. It's called Japanese Whispers. Another 80s band going into the 90s. And I guess Robert Smith is still recording. And it's a collection, I think, of their singles. Now remember, there's another album I have that's a collection of their singles. It's called On the Beach or something like that. This is a very cool album. It's the Strawberry Alarm Clock. Strawberry Alarm Clock, Strawberries Mean Love. This is a German import. It's a collection of all their singles in stereo, which is very good to have. And the liner notes on this are really, really wonderful. Now Ed King, guitarist and Leonard Skinner, he co-wrote Incense Peppermints, which was their big psychedelic hit. This is an album, I think I have it on cassette, but I finally got a vinyl copy. Yes, Union. I think it's from 1991. So I was surprised to see this in vinyl, but that's cool. Roger Dean cover art. The last one I'll show you in this segment. Grand Funk. We're an American band. I've had 3 copies of this, all in black vinyl. And this is the gold vinyl copy. This album is the one that has We're an American Band. It's produced by Todd Rundgren. It's the nice gold vinyl copy. Nice copy of it. Thank you again for watching.